Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new, I'm Nyx with Crowmate's Apothecary, and today I'm bringing you a love tarot pick card reading where we're going to be looking into exactly how it is that your crush feels about you. So for this reading, I am doing it a little bit differently in that I chose the Two of Cups from each of the decks that I plan on using during your reading to sort of represent that attraction and that potential new relationship. So you can look upon the art and see which one you feel the most attracted towards, which one kind of has more of your energy, or just whatever one you feel, of course, the most drawn toward. So starting on the far left side, we have the OK Tarot along with this Aura Quartz representing group number 1. Then we have the Pink Pain Tarot deck along with this Black Tourmaline representing group number 2. Beside that, with the Pastel Journey Tarot and this Pink Agate Crystal, this is representing group number 3. And lastly, we have the Rider-Waite Tarot deck along with this Tiger's Eye representing group number 4. So if you need a moment to pause the video, feel free to do so, and when you have made your decision, head on down to the description box below and then click on the timestamp that corresponds with the group that you chose. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick a card readings in the future and love readings every Friday, and also to join the Crow Coven, and I will see you guys in your reading. Hello group number 1, and welcome to your reading all about how it is that your crush feels about you. So if you chose the Two of Cups from the OK Tarot along with this Aura Quartz, then this will be your reading. And in the Aura Quartz here, this really represents this amplifying nature. So anything that is pushed into Aura Quartz, any sort of intention, it really builds upon it. So this is something where if you are trying to attract someone to you, or you are trying to really gather that channeled energy, we're hoping to get a very clear, crystal clear outlook of what it is that they are feeling toward you. So to get started, I'm going to roll this Astro Dice to see if we can pull any zodiac signs from you or this person that you're interested in, your crush, either sun, moon, or rising. Just for some clarification, the first one coming up is Scorpio. Next we have Gemini. And lastly we have Leo. So I'm going to set those right there. And then I am also going to start this reading off with a quick pull of our tiles that we have. So we're going to see if we can get some initials as well. I'm only going to pull 2 because we have this theme of the Two of Cups. It's the two of you. So this can be any letter in either you guys' first, last names. So the first one we have is C. And then we also have A. There we go. All right, so to get started, we are going to shuffle this deck here, get you going, group number 1. So let's tap into group 1's person. So for the crush that group 1 is thinking about, what do they feel about group 1? What's their energy? We're gonna pull 2 cards. So I'm seeing here the Ace of Wands and the Eight of Swords in the reverse position. So in the Ace of Wands, we're seeing this very like powerful creation moment. It's kind of like a spark. So almost like you met one another and you both were instantly like attracted to each other. And maybe you guys have known each other for a little bit of time now, or this is like a very recent meeting or a recent coming into each other's lives, but it gives me this feeling of whether it was a while ago or more recent, was just that it was kind of like that instant attraction. This card stands for beginnings, and it also stands for potential. So there is this potential of this sort of connection and this this interest I'm seeing. So I am seeing that they are having this positive interest toward you. We're also seeing that in the Eight of Swords in the reverse position here, because in this in the reverse position, this card deals with being open to new perspectives. So it means that this person is feeling very open toward the prospect of getting into a relationship with you, or just getting to know you a little bit better. If you guys aren't to that point where you're like, yes, I want to jump into a relationship, it could just be they're open to kind of knowing you a little bit more. This can also sort of indicate a need for release. So it's very possible that they or you have maybe held on to either a past relationship, or you're kind of going through like letting go of somebody maybe going through that, and they're kind of trying to be like, okay, let's calm down, let's get rid of like all this past baggage so we can go into this potential new relationship or just even new energy with a more positive mindset. That is the vibe that I am getting from these two cards. So I'm going to continue on in your reading. You've already got a pretty positive side, so let's see how they feel about you. So let's talk about Group 1's character. So how do they feel about you as a person in general? We have the Ace of Cups in the reverse position. And then we also have, Enemy in the reverse position. Interesting. So I'm seeing this as the Ace of Cups in the reverse position is they could possibly see you as somebody who maybe has either a hard time expressing your emotions, or it's that they just haven't seen you be emotional. The Ace of Cups reverse tends to deal with this blocked or repressed emotion. So it's very, very possible that they are just not sure how you are when it comes to dealing with things, your feelings about the matter of like whether or not you're interested in them, because they just can't quite tell where your energy lies. And then I'm interested in this Enemy card here because I've never pulled this card before. And so I wanted to peek into the guidebook, but my instant thought of this card was because it's in the reversed position. I'm really taking this card just super intuitively because I'm not seeing it in here, but I'm taking it as you are very much the opposite of an enemy. So they're seeing you as someone who is just very like welcoming to them. They want you near them because obviously if you were someone's enemy, you would want to maybe avoid them, maybe be a little bit intimidated by them and feel that standoffishness. But with it being reversed, I see it as being the complete opposite, is that they really feel just pulled to you and they see you as someone who very much like friendly in general, but also like almost I'm getting this feeling like they always have a good time with you, so they can't see you as someone who would hurt them, like someone who would purposefully try to do something like malicious to like mess with them. So that's how I'm seeing these two here. Let's continue forward. How do they feel about this potential between you guys? So for Group 1's person, this card wanted out. How do they feel about this potential? Ooh, okay. All right, so we're seeing two very interesting things. I do really think that someone in this situation is needing to go through some movement, in the sense of they feel like they have to release and let go of someone or something. Sorry, I had to move these a little bit. In the Six of Swords, it's talking about this almost like regretful need to move on. For some of them, it could be that perhaps they had an ex that they are trying to move away from. Again, we were seeing that there in the Eight of Swords reversed. We're seeing that there was this almost like need to kind of finally release something. So in this, it could be that they're holding on to a lot of this pain still from that last breakup, and they haven't quite reached out fully toward you just yet, because they are holding on to a little bit more baggage and they don't want to hurt you. So they're taking the necessary time in order to make it so you guys can meet together. The Six of Swords can also talk about this like rite of passage kind of moment. So I'm seeing that really as they like almost like they want to do it right, and they know that this is like a momentous sort of situation. Maybe they can feel this pull is so intense that they know it's not going to be just like a quick passionate relationship. They're like, it really feels like it's going to be deep. And the reason why I say that is because we had the Lovers come out immediately after that. This is a very powerful card, especially to be getting in a love reading. This talks about love. It talks about union, about relationships, being aligned with one another. So I really think that you guys could potentially have just a really beautiful relationship forming, I think, fairly soon. It almost feels like you guys are on the precipice, and you know that this is coming. You know that you guys are both like into each other and everything. And maybe it is simply just that they need to release a few more things. I also wanted to touch back on these cards up here too. With this being the Pink Pain Tarot deck, it really deals with the shadow side of things and more of the painful sides of things. So I didn't want to brush off the other messages that I was getting too. I'm not trying to taint any of this, but I do think that something that could possibly be holding them back is maybe they're afraid that you aren't willing, or they can't see that you want to open up. And I'm really getting from some of you, this is probably only going to resonate with like one person. We had pulled, we rolled Scorpio earlier, and for me, Scorpio is a sign that is very secretive. They can sometimes, because they feel their emotions so deeply, they really, really repress it and bury it really, really far down there because they don't want to show that emotion, especially when it comes to situations dealing in love. So it's very, very possible that they're kind of a little nervous or standoffish because they aren't sure, again, where your emotions lie. And it could just be that they're picking up that you're a little nervous or just a little bit secretive, especially if you have Scorpio somewhere in your chart. If you don't know, maybe peek into your Venus and see if you have Scorpio in your Venus, because that's very possible that it could be affecting this, and maybe that's what they're seeing and feeling when it comes to this situation with you. Lastly, I'm going to pull a few more cards. We're going to do 2 more of the Rider-Waite because I want to see, because obviously we had such a positive response there with the Lovers. So let's go ahead and any advice? Let's go for advice for group 1. Ooh, the Sun in the reverse position. Okay. This is just, you're just getting all the positive cards, honestly, right now. So the Sun, even though it's reversed, the Sun is the most like positive card in the tarot deck, and when it's in reversed, it can indicate a like temporary setback in the sense of like it's like temporary depression, or it could represent sort of like feeling a little discouraged. But because it is such a powerfully positive card, whenever I see it reversed, I still see it as this is a bump in the road and there's going to be this like bright outcome. There's still the silver lining. It's almost as if the clouds are covering the sun for just a moment, but then they'll eventually dissipate, or there's a break in the clouds and you see the sun beaming through it, kind of thing. I'm interested in the fact that it is below this Ace of Cups in the reverse position card. I'm kind of thinking that like, I don't want you to take it too deeply on yourself and think that you're like, I'm the reason why we're not getting together, or thinking anything too harsh on yourself. You're your own unique self, and if you are having a hard time being able to tap into your emotions, just know that this person is really looking to move toward you, and you, not that you need to step out of your comfort zone, but you need to be willing to meet them part way. So if they're dropping hints and you are just really holding them at arm's length, that's gonna keep them kind of pushed away. So try to open up just a little bit more. Just try to give them a little bit more of a hint, or just say outright, you know, like, I'm interested in you. Because if you take that push forward, we're seeing in the Six of Wands, this is so like, this is literally a victory card. This is progress moving forward. This is a self-confidence card. So you are having this really just bright transition over here in the Six of Wands, where it's just very apparent that good things will come from making this movement, making this transition. It's also a public recognition card, so it's literally you've done something that other people can see has brought this positivity to you, and they are celebrating that fact. So I got very obviously you guys updating your Facebook status, and people are seeing and they're congratulating you, like a very, very literal, very obvious sort of sign. So I'm going to pull just a couple more cards. You guys have already gotten, obviously, a very positive outcome. I'm kind of shocked because when I had the idea for this video, I was not sure if this was going to go out this way for anybody. So I'm very happy it did. And 2 of these cards flew out, so I'm going to read them off. This first one says the Vulture and Asphodel. I do not know if that's how that's pronounced. My apologies if you know how that flower is pronounced, but I do not. And it says upheaval. So this is a change. I always see it as a change kind of card. Upheaval also always reminds me of the Tower. It is such a sudden, almost external kind of change. So I do feel this like movement, like there's this intense, I keep saying it, change over and over again, but there's this intense newness that is going to be coming about. And ooh, speaking about change, we also pulled the Frog and Lotus, which says metamorphosis. So there is this change moment that's happening. There's something going on. Something is shifting. and making a move. Again, we saw that kind of here in the Six of Swords. There was that that need to move, that rite of passage kind of deal that we saw. So yeah, wow, lots of positivity here, you guys. And then I'm going to pull one last card from my Oracle deck here. So this will be about Group 1's crush. What do they think about them? What do they think about the potential relationship? So in this card here, the text on it says power and silence. So I'm wondering in that the potential of them perhaps being someone who is a little bit quieter, maybe just feeling in that when you guys are quiet, it doesn't feel awkward. It just feels like calming to you guys. Maybe they feel this nature from you, this Ace of Cups card here. Maybe they can feel that power again, kind of like my eye was drawn back toward it, where they almost can feel that silence coming from you of not opening yourself up fully. Just feels very powerful to them, and they can notice it. This is a very calming card too, because he's laying in this pond with the lotus and everything. Again, just like in the frog and lotus here. And honestly, this character has, he's from an anime, and there's actually a lot of like frog things in this as well. So that's interesting. A lot of change. He goes through a very large change as well. So it's very interesting. I wonder if you perhaps relate to frogs, or maybe you really like frogs. Maybe you felt this need for change in your life for some time as well. It's very interesting. I did not notice that at first with the lotus and everything. So yeah, I am so shocked by your reading, Group Number 1. You had a lot of really powerful energy. So to recap, I believe that your crush has this, they see this potential, they see this powerful new beginning, but there could be a need for them to have to really release something, but they are open to that prospect. In your character, it seemed like maybe they could see that you had a lot of repressed emotions. Maybe they feel like you've been hurt before, and so they don't want to go too quickly because they're afraid of scaring you away. In the enemy reversed, I really got just the sheer opposite, where it was that they see you as someone who's very friendly and someone who they can connect with easily. There's the potential that you do intimidate them a little bit, but almost in a way that where they're kind of into it is kind of the feeling that I just got from that card. Again, maybe you have this strong Scorpio energy that comes out that has them a little bit on edge, a little bit more nervous than they normally would. But when I was just thinking about how they feel about the relationship, the potential of a relationship, we saw in the Six of Swords that they may need to go through this transition where maybe they are holding on to situations from an ex, or even this could even potentially be you too, honestly, and it's trying to call out to you that you really have to release an ex before you can come into this new union. Perhaps you're bottling emotions up from a potential previous ex. But again, we straight up got the Lovers in this. So they are seeing this as a very positive situation. They want a union. They want this relationship. They believe that you guys are very aligned with one another. So I think that you guys can really make something come of this. Next, we had the Sun in the reverse position. So there's this temporary sadness, but afterward, you're going to have this bright sunny sky. You're going to have this positive progress. It just might be for a little while longer. You guys are just struggling to figure things out. And again, maybe try to see and focus on your emotions and what you're feeling on the inside when it comes to this. And then lastly, we had the Six of Wands with this progress, this self-confidence, this public recognition, this absolute victory card. So I really see just such a positive outlook for you, group number one. I'm truly shocked. So if this resonated with you, if you liked the reading, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick a card readings in the future, to join the Crow Coven and everything. And leave me a comment if this is the situation that you're going through, because this felt so pointed. When I was talking about like aura quartz being something that just amplifies and how it can really draw out such like, I'm hoping to draw out such a clear message, I did not think it was going to be this clear. And also, comment if you have this sort of feeling here, because I was so shocked about this, if you really relate to frogs, or if frogs are big symbolism for you or something, because this was a very wild card to pull during this time. Anyway, thank you guys so much for getting to this point in your reading, and I will see you guys in our next video. Hello, group number two, and welcome to your love reading all about how it is that your crush sees you, how they think about you. So to get started with this reading, I would love for you to keep this person in mind so I can get a better channeling of their energy toward you. So if you chose the Pink Pain Tarot deck along with this black tourmaline, then this will be your reading for today. And in this black tourmaline, I am getting this energy of this ability to repel negative energy. This black tourmaline can really help in filtering negative thoughts and being able to purify things. So one of the first messages I'm receiving is that I almost get this feeling like your crush can come to you and talk to you about things, and you really have this amazing ability to act as almost like a filter, where when they come to you, they can unload a bunch of stuff, and when they leave the conversation, they are feeling lighter. They feel a lot better about what was going on. Either you have amazing advice, or you're just such a good listener that they just feel so good walking away from that conversation. So I am getting this feeling like you guys are friends. This isn't a situation where you're like secretly pining for this person. However, on the opposite ends of things, I guess this could be a pining situation in the sense of the other strong message I got was when I was thinking about the word repels, so repelling energies, repelling that negativity, I almost got this image of you guys being complete opposites. So it's like opposites attract kind of situation, but I thought of a magnet, and I thought of that repelling nature that magnets also have. So I'm getting this feeling like it could possibly be, yes, opposites attract, but it could also be, if you guys are too opposite, you might actually be pushing each other slightly away from one another. So that's just going to be a message for some of you. But I wanted to be really, really honest. I don't want to like burst your bubble or anything going immediately into this reading, but I did want to be honest and let you know all of the messages that I was getting during this time. So to get started, I am going to roll this Astro dice. We're going to look to see if we can pull either your sun, moon, or rising, or theirs. So the first one we have coming out is Libra. Ooh, next we have Virgo, and that rolled very strange. It kind of slid right out. So I wonder if that's a little bit more important, maybe more prominent. And lastly, we have Taurus. So I will set that aside for you. And then next, I'm going to pull 2 tiles to try to get initials. So this could be in your first, middle, or last name, either yours or theirs. Let's pull these 2. The first one we are seeing is N. And then we're also seeing V, so a little bit more of a unique one there. I'll set that down. All right, and let's get started into your reading group 2. So hopefully you have been having an amazing week. I'm so thankful that you found this video. Let's see if we can tap into your person, into your crush. Let's go with how it is that they see you and how they feel about you. So let's get into this. We're going to be pulling 2 cards from all 4 of the decks that you saw earlier for messages. This one flew right out. So this is the 8 of Wands in the reverse position. Can I get one more, please? And the Page of Swords in the reverse position. All right, so starting out, with this 8 of Wands reversed, we're seeing this delay. And there's a lot of frustration there. There's a lot of like, well, why? It feels like, well, why? Like, why is there such a delay? And it almost feels like there is this need for one party or the other to hold off from jumping too far ahead too quickly. So I'm getting this energy like someone is nervous and afraid of taking that step almost. It's kind of like that feeling of like, if you guys are friends, you don't want to ruin the friendship, so you are afraid of it, but you're still kind of towing that weird line. It's almost the feeling that I'm getting from it, and that's where I feel that frustration. I feel that someone, and I don't know if this is you or if this is coming from your crush, because it feels very strange. It feels almost like it is on their end more, but I almost see it as both of you. You're both kind of like teetering on that precipice, but in a way where it just feels like, why haven't one or the other spoken up? Especially like I'm getting almost like a like DMing a lot, talking online a lot is the feeling that I'm getting. And it's like, why is it so hard to just send a message quickly that says, hey, I like you, can we date? Like, it feels almost like that, like harsh. Next, we're seeing in this Page of Swords reversed though. In the page, it's almost like, it's funny because it's kind of almost like an opposite of the 8 of Wands, where it feels very hasty and almost to the point where it's like too quick. Perhaps you guys have been friends for a shorter amount of time, and so maybe it just feels like it's too quick. It could also be that this person has said things, like they have given very clear signs, like because this card indicates like an all talk and no action kind of thing, where it's like maybe they have said very clearly that they're like into you, but then they don't. They haven't gotten to the point where they've actually said anything, and maybe that's where that frustration has come from, is like maybe they've dropped these hints, or like I'm really getting like this intense feeling like they have said or perhaps done something that was a little more adult, like maybe sent a risque photo or requested one. And again, I'm seeing online, I'm seeing this sort of like sent, like texting kind of situation. And there's that frustration there because it's almost like, yes, like I know you're physically attracted to me, but why hasn't there been anything further? So I feel like that's just a message for some people. Take what resonates there. Whatever sort of online, I'm really getting online. So whatever sort of online communication that's been happening, they're kind of giving you these mixed messages. So I'm really interested because this is not giving me exactly what I wanted when it comes to how they feel about you. So let's go a little bit further. I really want to dig down deep. So none of this surface level frustration crap. Let's talk about how they feel about you. So how does group two's crush feel about them? What are their actual emotions when you dig deeper? Ooh, we pulled the Two of Cups. Okay. So they're interested. Let's keep going. Ten of Pentacles in the reverse position. Interesting. So this is very interesting, very odd to me. In the Two of Cups here, we have this, again, there's a newness to this relationship. The Two of Cups almost means like a new connection. I don't know if perhaps you guys maybe are a thing. Like maybe you guys just recently got together and so you're kind of like, you're watching this because you're vaguely curious. But for most of you, I'm really seeing, again, that like precipice. I'm seeing like, you're sitting there being like, when's it gonna happen? And so I'm getting from them that they are interested. This is kind of like an initial attraction. This is still giving me lust vibes, because it is such an instant attraction kind of thing. It can indicate a further relationship and a want for that relationship. Or actually, because I was trying to think about how it is that they feel about you, maybe they can sense that you really want something. And I don't know if they're using that against you in this Page of Swords reversed. It's possible, again, that all talk, no action. They're sitting there like promising you things, but then not going forward with it. Maybe they're sensing this want, this partnership that you want. Two very distinct things, because we had, when I first pulled it, I really was like, wait a minute. This is like showing that they're interested. But again, the fact that I was thinking about how they see you, I almost think that they kind of know how you feel. So I don't know if you've told them or if they just really get the vibe off of you and they're possibly using it against you. So just be very careful about that. We're seeing in this Ten of Pentacles, this here, because it's reversed, this means that it can really indicate like a financial failure, but that doesn't really make much sense to me. But it can also mean some sort of loss or loneliness. So it could be that your crush potentially sees you, and like, not to be harsh or anything, but they could potentially see you as someone who is very lonely, and you seeking out their attention almost gives me this vibe where they're filling up this void for you that feels good on the surface level, to the point where you have been like drawn towards this unity, but they could be seeing it, especially with it being reversed, and there's so many reversals here, almost like they know. And again, I'm getting that feeling of like they could possibly be using it against you. I don't like that. I really don't want that to be what's happening. For those of you who's like, this sounds so wild. If this person is like really, really sweet and like they're not giving you this indication, I'm wondering if maybe they're just so unconfident in themselves, and that's why there's this frustration and why they say weird hints but then don't go all the way kind of thing. Is maybe they have this lack of confidence. So let's dig into that. Why? Let's talk about it. Why are they not asking what's going on here? It's very, very interesting. So for group two, can we clarify what's going on here? Queen of Cups in the reverse position, another reversal. So just keep that in your mind. And the Emperor. Okay, we have this very strong energy. If this is a like hetero relationship, it could be that you guys are being displayed here. It could also be for same-sex, in the sense of, keep in mind that we all have masculine and feminine energies within us. So if you display more masculine energy, even if you are not male identifying, you could still be the Emperor in this situation, and they could be the Queen of Cups. But the way I'm seeing this is almost like, for most of you, I'm seeing this as you are the Queen of Cups in the reverse position, or this is how they see you, and this is the situation that's going on, and then they're seeing themselves as this Emperor. So in conjunction with how I was asking, why is this happening? This Queen of Cups here shows this emotional insecurity, or this feeling of codependency. So in conjunction with what I said earlier about how I'm getting this feeling like this is indicating you, or how they see you, they almost feel like you are very codependent. So like, again, this Two of Cups, it's like they almost feel like, I'm getting this feeling like, oh, it's a lot of work to have to keep up with them, kind of thing. And that does not feel nice. I'm hoping that this is not what this is, because if this feels very negative so far, it feels very like they are using you almost, in a sense. And I'm being drawn back towards this black tourmaline, how I mentioned you could be a filter for them. So like, they can come to you and vent to you, or they can just unload all of their troubles on you, and they feel lighter. But you, as the filter, you're taking in all of this, you're taking in all of that negative energy and trying to help them through something, and then you're getting really nothing back from them. I'm almost seeing. I really hope that's not the case for you guys, but the cards are kind of leading me toward that. The Queen of Cups reversed, again, discussing that emotional insecurity. They could possibly see you as someone who is very emotional. Cups deals with emotions. It is ruled by the water signs. So they could see you as someone who just, maybe you are someone who's quick to upset. Maybe you're somebody who cries easily, and they're seeing it almost as like a lot of work. And that is not the way you should be feeling about someone. If you are interested in them, that is not something that you should want them to be feeling about you either. So I'm really hoping I'm wrong about this situation, but for some of you, I do feel like you've somehow tumbled into this strange situation where you are getting some attention from them in a way that makes you feel good, makes you want this union, but they're keeping you at an arm's length. They're promising you certain things, but they're keeping you away from them because they don't quite want that. In the Emperor here, we're seeing someone with a lot of power. We're seeing someone who has a lot of authority, someone who's very structured and has a solid foundation. This could be indicating someone who is an older male, simply because it's the Emperor. But again, that gives me that power and balance. That gives me almost this, like they've done this before, and so they're kind of just playing with you, and I really, really hate that. I really don't like that feeling. So I'm sorry that I'm being super honest with this reading, but I really hope that if this situation is going on, that this is like a wake-up call, and it is helping you recognize those red or beige flags that you may have been ignoring. Again, hopefully this was just simply not your reading that you needed and it doesn't resonate, and you can either choose another one or something, because oof, this is I'm sorry, group number 2. Let's go with one last thing. I'm still so curious as to why. Can we get the why? I also want advice for you too, though. So either why is it happening, or can we get advice for group 1 or group 2? My apologies. The 4 of Cups in the reverse position. Oof. And the 6 of Pentacles upright. Okay. So interesting. We're seeing Libra again here too with this scale. I'm wondering if maybe that is somewhere in your chart or even something in theirs. Libras can be extremely social, very, very charming, to the point where they can kind of use that power against people. So be careful just in general, almost like that person who's just very positive, able to charm the pants off of people kind of like vibe was what I was getting. Not every Libra. Libras are also very beautiful souls. I never want to make Libras feel bad, or any sign in general, but I'm just saying there are certain people that will use their powers against others. So just keep that in mind. I was very drawn toward those scales. For the 4 of Cups in the reverse position, we're seeing, and this could possibly be their reason why, is they're just bored. This is a boredom card. This is someone who's being really aloof, like they just don't really care about the situation. And this could indicate to you almost this wake-up call of this being a missed opportunity. You need to just like wash your hands of this situation. Again, I was saying this was a lot of online stuff, block and move on kind of vibe. I know that you did not click this video wanting to hear that, but I'm going to tell you because it came to me. And if this is resonating, just really protect yourself during this time. Use this black tourmaline for yourself to negate that negative energy and take away anything that is trying to harm you, including a person. Next, in the 6 of Pentacles, this is a little bit interesting. This one is all about very much having that giving personality, having like sharing your wealth, charity of some sort, just generosity in general. So it almost, when I was asking about it, I was thinking about advice. And so I'm having a hard time with this, other than grabbing that Libra and really feeling that. I'm wondering if this could possibly be that you need to give a little bit more to yourself, in the sense of, if these things are happening, seeing all the other cards, seeing this Queen of Cups in reverse that I really was equating towards you, seeing indications where they kind of feel that you're lonely and they feel almost like you want this relationship, but they're giving off that they don't want this. You need to give more to yourself and give yourself self-love, self-confidence, enough to walk away from this situation, even if you like the attention. I think you need to know when to pull away. So if this is resonating, just know that you can always walk away from this, and you do not need to be stuck with someone who's not going to treat you the way that you want, or ever be able to give you the thing that you want. Again, that frustration from wanting a relationship but not ever reaching that point. So I'm going to pull just a few more cards for you, group number 2. I know it's already been a fairly painful reading, and I apologize. I both do and don't hope this resonates, because for those of you who this does resonate with, I do want this to be some sort of wake-up call and some sort of call to action where you need to step up for yourself a little bit. I'm gonna pull 2 of these, and I did pull 2 of them immediately. This first one is the Bear and Cedar, and it says leadership. This also has the 4 on it from the Emperor, so it really gives me that feeling, that leadership feeling. So this could be somebody who's almost like, they may almost be a little bit intimidating because they have this again, this older male energy. They have this feeling like they've got it all together, and they know exactly what to do, what to say, when to say it. And again, they could be very, very charming. I'm really getting it that this is them. And then lastly, we have the Dragonfly and Pansy with balance. And again, we are seeing another scale situation. With balance, the scales are in balance, Libra scales, so another pull to that. The other thing too, when I saw balance, is I thought of Temperance, and Temperance is ruled by Sagittarius, and we did roll Sagittarius as well, so there may be some more cling to that as well. Interesting. I think this need, because I'm seeing this balance again, balancing yourself out, balancing your time and energy toward you instead of giving it constantly to this person who seemingly does not want to give it back to you. Can I get one last message about the overall general reading? Ooh. So in this card here in Panicotta Fugo, this card shows observing and wondering. So there is this need for you to sort of stand back and really take in what is going on. I think you've been kind of maybe lost in the moment, lost in the fantasy for a little while, and it's now time for you to pull back. You may already have been at that point, because again, there's that frustration here that will we, won't we, what's going on, why is there such a delay, that pull that I was saying, like, why am I not receiving a message that's saying like, hey, let's date? You're wondering, you're sitting there going like, why? So if you haven't been thinking about it, now may be the time for you to take on all of this information, everything that's been going on in your situation, going, why hasn't this come to fruition? And then make a game plan from there. Make your steps going forward benefit you instead of giving this power to this other person. We're seeing a lot of power in their court with the Emperor, this leadership coming back here. We're seeing this imbalance again with the scales, this need for balance. It feels like they have the higher ground over you, and you almost allowed this because you just sort of went along with it because it felt good. That's the story that I'm seeing here. So I am sorry for calling you out if I did, and also for potentially hurting your feelings if I did, because I do not want to do that to you guys. So to recap really quick, group number 2, I'm having this feeling that your potential crush could be using you more than you would like, or possibly not in the way that you would like. We're seeing in the Black Tourmaline this possibility that you guys are repelling one another. There's something that's going on that's pushing you away from each other. The Eight of Wands reversed gives us this sort of frustration, this delay, this someone's holding off. The Page of Swords reversed, we had again, this all talk, no action. There's haste in a certain sense. So maybe they're being very forward about saying things and being like promising you certain things, but then you're not getting anything at the end of the day that you actually want. They see you as someone who wants this union, you want a relationship, and they're kind of possibly using this against you. In the Ten of Pentacles reversed, they could see you as someone who's very lonely and someone who they can use because of that reason. In the Queen of Cups reversed, I was seeing this as you and how they feel about you. And I'm seeing it that they think that you are very emotional, that you perhaps are quick to lean into your emotions when it comes to certain things, and possibly codependent. So they're seeing again that you want to cling on to them. And they're sitting there as this emperor where they feel very much like they have a solid foundation. They have this leadership, this older male energy who is again possibly taking advantage. And when I tried to ask again, why is this happening? We saw the Four of Cups reverse, and it simply just means because they're like bored. They are having this really aloof attitude where, yeah, you're fun to play with in the moment, but then again, they're just not really giving you that energy that you want. And lastly, I was seeing in the Six of Pentacles that you need to rebalance your life. You need to really give yourself that self-confidence and give more to you, that self-love, and really push for what you need. And if they're treating you like this, if they're really truly treating you like this, they're never going to meet you on a level that actually means anything or is filled with actual respect for you. Like if somebody treated me like this and thought this about me, and then they turned around and they were like, by the way, let's date, I would say no. I would block them. You do not want to get into a relationship with this person if this is truly how they are feeling. And then lastly, we saw the Bear and Cedar with leadership, and the Dragonfly and Pansy with balance. And I'm really seeing this as them and you. Again, that Emperor with the 4 and the 4. And again, it being about leadership. And then over here, we were seeing this balance in the scales as well as the card. And then lastly is observing and wondering. So take all this in. I hope that if this did resonate with you, that you take this advice, that you really sit back and go through some introspection and work through your emotions and how you feel and build yourself back up, because you do not need this person in your life if they're going to be treating you this way. So my apologies, group number 2. I know this probably wasn't quite what you were looking for, but I am thankful that I did get this message out, because I do feel like this is meant for someone to hear. If this resonated with you, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick card readings in the future, and to join the Crow Coven. And if it did resonate, I'm not even going to say if you liked this reading, because I wouldn't like this reading if I saw it. But if it resonated with you, please leave a comment letting me know that this touched you in whatever way, because it was such a strong message, and I really wasn't expecting this going in. Group number 1 had a very different situation. So the fact that this was pulled out for you, group number 2, is just so pointed and so intense. So let me know if anything here, especially the digital thing, if you guys are communicating digitally, and if it feels like I don't know why I said he, because honestly, this could be anyone, but the fact that it slipped out, I'm really feeling a masculine energy here. So if he's been like pushing for like potential like nudes, or like trying to be really forward in that way toward you, let me know if it's safe to do so, because that is a very interesting pull that I got from this reading. Anyway, stay safe, protect yourself, balance yourself out, and I will see you guys in our next video. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading all about how it is that your crush feels about you. So to get started in with this reading, if you chose the Pastel Journey Tarot along with this pink agate, then this is going to be your reading for the day. And with this stone here, this truly talks about harmonizing opposites. So it's very possible that you and your crush are very opposite people. Perhaps one of you is very introverted and the other is very extroverted. And this is kind of one of those stones that can also help in healing anger and bitterness within the heart. So there is this possibility here that this stone could be indicating perhaps you have a crush on someone who they either have gone through something and they're trying to heal that part of themselves before they ask you out, or perhaps you guys have this odd sort of like on again, off again kind of situation going on. That's only going to be a message for some of you, but I am very strongly feeling it. Like there's some weirdness going on there where it almost feels like you guys are like hot and cold with one another. And I'm not quite sure why I'm getting that message, but I am. Before we get started with the tarot cards, I'd love to roll this astro dice to try to pull you guys as sun, moon, or rising signs, just to help indicate that this is for you. The first one we have coming out is Sagittarius. Next we have coming out is Capricorn. Talk about opposites there. Sagittarius and Capricorn. And then lastly, we have Leo. So I'm going to set this aside. And then I'm also going to pull a couple of letters from this bag of mine here to see if we can get you guys' first, middle, or last name. The initials. We'll pull up 2. So the first one we have coming out is L. There, and then O. So we could be, again, your first, middle, or last, and also seeing those 2 next to each other. Obviously, we're seeing the first 2 letters of the word love, so that's something to keep in mind. And now let's get started into your reading, group number 3. So I hope you've been having an amazing week so far. I would love for you to think on this person, think on your crush, so I can kind of tap into their energy during this reading. I'm going to be pulling 2 cards from each of the decks that you saw in the intro. So how does group 3's crush feel about them? First one we have coming out is the Chariot. And Temperance, wow. So first things first, we have the Chariot coming out, and this is a card all about movement. There's also a lot of strength and control that comes from the Chariot. Someone who is very victorious and very assertive and determined. This is somebody who has the self-confidence to really drive their wants and needs. And why I was so shocked when I saw both of these is these are both major arcanas. So I really think that these 2 cards are on the forefront of your crush's mind when it comes to thinking about you. I am almost getting like you guys are the extrovert. You guys are this fiery, passionate kind of person. We're seeing in the Chariot this like sense of control, again, like what I said, that determination and that victorious sort of ability that I really think that when they look at you, they think that you can just, again, get whatever you want. They think that you just have so much willpower and so much ability to go for the things that you want, and they see you as a very capable person. Next in the Temperance card, another reason why I like laughed when I pulled this card is that this is actually ruled by Sagittarius. So when we rolled Sagittarius earlier, there's that link there. So that link to that fiery, kind of passionate sort of person. But in Temperance, we are seeing this feel of like balance, moderation, and someone who has a lot of patience as well. So I think they see you as someone who's very well-rounded. Yes, you can rush forward and throw all of your energy into something in order to be victorious, but you can also sit back and kind of watch what's going on around you, and you can work out a plan in order to get exactly what you want to. So I really think that they think these two things about you very, very highly. In the Chariot too, again, there's that movement. They see you as someone who is, you're like quick to move on from things, or you're quick to fill up your time, it almost feels like. Like you want to just keep on going. You want to keep on doing things and keep on improving yourself. So let's go ahead and move into the next couple cards. What other messages can we get for group 3? What is their crush thinking about them on? Justice in the reverse position, yet another major arcana. Sorry, my head started buzzing when I was thinking about Justice. And this 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so I think that with the Justice reversed, it almost feels like they witnessed either you going through a situation where you were treated unfairly, and because of how you held yourself in that situation, they kind of sparked even more intense, like, just like admiration for you. They saw how you were being treated, and you kind of didn't, it felt like you didn't roll over and take it. You kind of stood your ground, and they were very much like almost taken aback that you did, but it was something that they found very attractive. For other people, this message could be coming about as Justice in reverse literally talks about unfairness, this dishonesty, and this sort of lack of accountability. So we don't want to just fluff out the good things. There could be possibly something that was done that, instead of impacting it in a good way, it could have impacted them in the other way, where perhaps you were somebody who you did something that was dishonest, or maybe something happened and you kind of skirted away from it, and maybe that's something that has kind of kept you a little bit on the back burner in their mind. And why they haven't moved forward toward you yet is because they aren't quite sure if it's possible whether or not you would hurt them. But I am not really getting that message for most of you. Because of this high regard I see them hold for you in both the Chariot and Temperance. It doesn't hurt to ever look at yourself as honestly as possible, though, and try to see where you made mistakes, because everyone has made mistakes, everyone has been wrong, everyone has hurt someone in one way or another, and whether or not they have apologized shows that good character, that you're someone who's willing to say, hey, I messed up, kind of thing. And if you do that, if you were to apologize for something that you did, if you did something, then they would just have so much more respect for you. And it's that kind of feeling. But I don't think it's something that is holding them back so intensely. I think for most of you, it's something that they've just noticed and they've just held on to a little bit. However, the biggest message I'm getting for you guys is that I feel like you are in a situation where something unjust happened toward you, and that's why they're seeing this. Because we're seeing in the Eight of Pentacles here, this person and this real ability to tap into your craft. You're someone who really just works very, very hard. Again, I keep getting drawn toward that Capricorn that we saw earlier too, because while Temperance is about ruled by like Sagittarius, when I think of patience and I think about that sort of just balanced, moderate kind of person, and with the Chariot, that intense willpower kind of thing, it's someone who will go down, nose to the grindstone, get things done. I do think heavily of Capricorn, and this card once again is pulling me toward that, where it is someone who is willing to put in the work, and they are constant when it comes to perfecting their craft. The other thing with the Eight of Pentacles, this could indicate someone who is maybe going to seek higher learning. So if you are going to college right now, or if you're going to like a specialty school, some sort of like apprenticeship sort of situation, they could see you as someone who's tapping into that. So let's see why. Let's tap into this. Why do they feel this way about you? What is that Justice in reversed about? This card wants to come out. Yet another Major Arcana. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna especially talk about this card in particular with it. What I'm getting from the Magician is, oh my God, okay, sorry, I got really excited. So what I'm seeing in the Magician is there is someone who, the Magician is someone who has a lot of power, has a lot of skill in what they're doing, and a lot of resourcefulness. So I really think that it's doubling down a bit on this Eight of Pentacles, where it's, again, you are implementing your skill. So I'm really seeing school. So someone, whether you guys met at school or they're seeing that you're going to school, or you've been talking about it, like some sort of university, college situation is what I'm really getting. They're kind of seeing you do that, and I keep pointing towards the Eight of Pentacles because another card fell on the floor when I was pulling these two, and I originally wasn't going to read it, but then when I went and picked it up, I pulled like the Eight of Pentacles again had fallen on the floor. So this is once more trying to reiterate something to do with school. So I'm going to set this aside, but just so you know, we did pull that second Eight of Pentacles. So there's some attachment there. So it is very possible that you have met at school. And then going into this Five of Wands in the reverse position card, this card, when it's upright, it is about conflict. It is about some sort of disagreement and some sort of tension. But when it's reversed, it tends to be that there is this conflict that's being avoided. And it's also an intense focus instead on your goals. And so I'm really getting this feeling again from this Justice reversed, is that there was something that happened with like a group of friends or people that just for some reason attacked you or something, and you were trying to avoid those people, and instead you're trying to focus on your schooling. So that is something that I really think is playing a big part, is that they saw something going on and they see that you're trying to redirect your energy, but they also really believe that you're someone who's going to move on from this situation, and you're going to be able to gain the higher ground and work through those issues, and they really admire you for that. That's what I'm getting for you guys mostly with this. And then let's pull our last two cards. I would love to know about, because like, are they holding off? Like, what's going on with that? I really would like to know. So group three's crush. Can we get some further information? Some advice, anything going on? The Ace of Cups. That is a great card. And Strength in the reverse position. Okay. So this is giving me kind of like a really quick story. It almost feels like they have to build themselves up before they say anything. It feels like they almost like want to tell you that they like you, but they have this like self-doubt. They almost feel like they're really bigging you up because they feel this like strong like Chariot and Temperance energy toward you, that they almost feel like, well, like I'm not good enough for them, so like I can't share with them that I like them too, kind of situation. And the reason why I'm saying that is because in the Ace of Cups, this is about love. This is literally about having this overwhelming outpour of emotion and of love, and it's a very compassionate card as well. So this is telling me the story where it almost feels like they want to say something, they are drawn toward you heavily, and they feel like maybe you are just too focused on school right now, that they don't want to mess that up. They don't want to get in the way of it. They're not sure if there's room for them in your life. And so they're holding themselves back because, again, Strength in the reverse position can be some sort of weakness, but we're seeing it mainly as a weakness of self, in the way that they just have this like self-confidence issue, and they aren't sure if you are going to accept them for who they are. But again, the Ace of Cups is a card that literally means love. We have love up here too, is that it almost feels like if you were to go to them and confess to them, that they would say yes and that you guys would be in a relationship. But I'm feeling this sort of, I'm feeling almost like you guys are opposites, and perhaps you're either introverted, but like you show it differently to them. Like you are more talkative to them, so they see you as extroverted, and they're actually extroverted, or you're really extroverted, especially with these cards, and they're the more introverted and like quiet kind of person. So keep that in mind, that those opposites here. Let's pull some cards for any last messages. For group three, last messages for them and their crush, how their crush feels about them. The first one we have coming out is the Otter and Cattail, and it says peace. So it's almost like they're just saying that you really bring them this sense of calm, this sense of like peacefulness. And it's so cute because otters are like, whenever they are with other otters and they go to fall asleep, they fall asleep holding hands because they want to be close. They don't want to drift away. So they keep them close there. That's really sweet. And then on here, we also pulled the Quail and Gooseberry, which says anticipation. So again, it's almost that feeling like someone is waiting to say something. Either you're waiting to tell them or they're waiting to tell you. You guys are kind of in this strange middle ground where you both can kind of get the vibe from one another, but you haven't taken the leap yet. But I do see it as something that would work out if that is something that you are aiming toward. I'm going to pull one last card for you today, group three. The last card that I have pulled is La Squadra, and it says turning the bad things good. So this is kind of giving me that overall vibe of that unfair situation and how there's this conflict that is being avoided in order to focus instead on the good things in your life, instead focusing on your studies and stuff like that. So that is kind of like the overall theme that I'm seeing here, is that perhaps this was even like a falling out with friends. There was this disagreement of two parties. This sort of, in this card, it's indicating people who should have been working together all along, but they were on these separate teams and they ended up fighting. And so it almost feels like you may have been friends and this shouldn't have happened, but you were almost like the scapegoat in this situation and ended up with the short end of the stick kind of thing. And that is something that your crush has seen, and maybe they were part of this. Like maybe they were in this group and they saw this happen to you, and now it feels weird because they're still kind of stuck in the group and they're not sure how to move away from that kind of thing. So that could be a situation for some of you, but for others, I think just continuing to focus on ignoring those people. Whatever they did to you, if this was something where they hurt you, let them go. Again, do exactly what you're doing. This is a very like powerfully positive group I've seen, because despite going through this hardship, you are really taking it on upon yourself to try to be the bigger person and try to instead be like, listen, I don't want any of this in my life anymore. I instead want to focus on myself. I want to better myself and my skills. And that is what is drawing your crush toward you. I really think they're seeing this positive energy from you. So, group number 3, I hope you liked this reading. Thank you so much for getting as far as you did. If you liked it or it resonated with you, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick a card readings in the future, and to join the Crow Coven. And to recap, what we're seeing is that your crush has this really high, like, upstanding thoughts when it comes to you in the Chariot. We're seeing someone who has a lot of control, a lot of determination, a sense of willpower, and will eventually be victorious. In Temperance, we got that vibe from Sagittarius 2 times here, so keep that in mind. And with Temperance, we see someone who is patient and balanced, and someone who is able to really find their inner purpose, their meaning in life. But I believe that your crush witnessed some sort of unfair moment that happened in your life with Justice reversed. Either you were someone who you did something that was unfair or dishonest and you're kind of realizing it, or for the bigger amount of people, I'm really getting that something happened to you and they saw this happen and they are recognizing that you are shifting away from that, trying to pull away from it and instead focus on school. We had the 8 of Pentacles come out not once, but twice for you, which is basically your higher education card, as well as the Magician, which is just somebody who has this skill, this power, this concentration toward bettering themselves and putting all of their skills and talents into action. Next, we had the 4 of Wands in the reverse position, which is this conflict avoidance, and specifically dealing with focusing instead on your goals. So pulling away from people as you did, focus on your goals, just keep at it. That is great. I am proud of you if that is what you are doing in this time frame. Next, when we kind of looked into, well, why isn't this happening? We did get the Ace of Cups, which is showing this love, this really overwhelming emotion toward you and this compassion toward you. But we did see in Strength reversed, it's almost like they are having a hard time willing themselves to have that courage to reach out to you. We're seeing someone who has this self-doubt. Again, they feel very peaceful when they're around you. They feel that you bring them peace, and they have a lot of anticipation as to what's going to be happening next. But again, just continue to turn the bad things good. Just continue to focus on the positives in your life. Leave behind those negative things because you do not need them. Again, thank you so much for getting as far as you did in your reading, and let me know if this resonates because I'm so interested. Like, I'm obviously very, very curious about this justice reversed moment. Is this a situation that you went through? If it's safe for you to do so, let me know in the comments if that is a thing that you went through. Group number 3. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you on Wednesday. Have a great day. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading all about how it is that your crush feels about you. So if you chose the Rider-Waite Tarot deck along with this Tiger's Eye, then this will be your reading for today. And in the Tiger's Eye, this is a stone that really helps working with confidence and protection and also strong willpower. So it's very possible that your crush sees you in that way as well. They see you as someone who really has a positive attitude, especially when it comes toward when you set goals, you go for them, and they kind of see you as someone who pushes for that sort of power and really having that within yourself. They can also see you as someone who really has just a strong sense of personal power. So you are not afraid to live authentically as yourself. You're not afraid to be like, here's who I am. And they really like that about you. That's the vibe that I'm getting so far in the Tiger's Eye. So to get started, I'm actually going to roll this Astro Dice to see if I can pull a few zodiac signs for you guys. So this could be your sun, moon, or rising, or your crushes. The first one we have is Aries, so let's talk about that, having that determination, that drive, that inner power. Next we have Scorpio, again, very driven, very intense when it comes to their goals as well. And lastly, we have Gemini. So I'm gonna set that here. And then we are going to also pull some tiles from this bag. I'm going to pull 2 of them. So I'm going to see if we can get any initials from you guys' first, middle, or last name for you or your crush. Let's go with these 2. So the first one we have coming out is Q, a very unique one, Q. And the next we have E. I also wonder if perhaps because of it being such a unique tile, unique letter, is also with the E having the queen. Maybe that's a sort of either a nickname, or also perhaps you or your crush are named after some form of royalty. So even if there's not a Q in it, maybe your name is like Elizabeth or something like that. Think about that. All right, so group number 4. Let's go ahead and get into your reading. I'm going to shuffle the deck a little bit. Hope you've had an amazing week. I'd love for you to hold on to thoughts of your crush as we go through this reading so I can tap into them better. The first one we have coming out is the 10 of Swords. How do they feel about group number 4? The High Priestess reversed. Interesting. Okay. The first thing I am seeing in the 10 of Swords is that I think your crush has possibly seen you at your absolute lowest. And I'm almost seeing this as this is something that has happened fairly recently. The 10 of Swords shows some sort of defeat. It shows some sort of loss or an ending, even to the point of crisis, as well as backstabbing. So it, like, quite literally, it almost feels like you went through something that has caused this very intense time in your life where you have had to pull away from yourself. You've had to maybe pull away from the people around you. And because of this, your crush knows that this has happened to you. So it almost feels like someone who has at least been there for a little bit of time, perhaps still not a significant amount of time, but this isn't a situation where it feels like you guys have only known each other for a week. This feels like they've seen you specifically go through an event. And also with the High Priestess in the reverse position, this is giving this feeling of they possibly have seen you to this point where you're like, they suddenly know that you're like not listening to yourself anymore. Things that you would normally do in a path you would normally follow, you're not following for whatever reason, and is likely stemmed from this Ten of Swords moment here. They're seeing that you are having a really hard time being able to be your truest self and be able to have that determination that we talked about, being able to have that that will to accomplish your goals and that positive attitude, things like that. So I think that they realize that you are, it's kind of like you're just off your A game. They realize that you have so much going on, and that is hard to really help with. They feel almost like simply helpless in this situation. Let's go further into this. So let's lean away from your crush just a little bit and let's talk about you. So what is going on in this situation? Can we get some advice for group 4 when it comes to their crush and all of this? It's obviously, I have to imagine you're not trying to have them feel this way or anything. So can we have some advice for group 4, please? To lean toward their love life, getting back on track. Okay. We've got a decent amount of reversals right now. We're seeing this this Two of Pentacles moment here, which is showing this this disorganization right now and possibly having issues dealing with finances. So we're going to, obviously, taking this as advice, is that you need to find balance in your life again. You need to find that ability to adapt to different situations once more. And also, we're seeing in the Queen of Pentacles, again, we have that Queen, that QE kind of moment here. The Queen of Pentacles in the reverse position really talks about having, again, a lot of imbalance, but this specifically talks about an imbalance with work and family. It's almost like your job is taking over and you don't have time for people in your life, kind of thing. So it feels strange because it almost feels like perhaps you have lunged yourself into work because of some form of loss that has happened in your life. Your crush is seeing that you are taking a lot of time in just focusing on your hustle. You're just focusing on your career right now. And maybe that is something that is pushing them a little bit further away from you, instead of allowing you guys to possibly find out if this could be a relationship that would work out. They still, again, seeing that Queen, we're still getting this vibe where they're seeing you as someone who's very regal, someone who's should be treated like a queen, but because of this being reversed, it is just almost like there's no way that they can treat you this way right now because you are allowing time for it. You're trying to distract yourself. It almost feels like there was some grief that you went through fairly recently, and that is what is really pulling away. In order to have this advice here with the Queen of Pentacles, this is someone who is very down to earth, someone who's very secure, almost like has a motherly kind of feeling, and someone who's very practical. So try to lean on those traits as you go along your journey of healing. Again, grief is something that we all feel in different ways and have to experience in different ways. So if you are someone who had a lot of pain in your past, especially more recently, I'm getting this feeling of like the past year or maybe year and a half, there's some intense pain that brought it to the point where it almost feels like you were backstabbed by people because of it. Like an event happened and then people just acted out because of it, sort of situation. Just try to move forward with this sense of balance, holding up that crown kind of moment, this like bringing yourself back down to earth and really plodding along that way in order to expand this potential relationship with your crush. So let's go back now to your crush and get some more feelings from them, because this was more lean towards advice towards you, or perhaps they feel also like this is what they would tell you. This is what they would want you to hear in this situation. Let's go back to your crush. I want to see why it is that they are holding back. So what is going on there? Why is group 4's crush really holding back on telling them? We have 7 of Swords in the reverse position. And Princess of Cups, so Page of Cups. So I'm seeing here, the 7 of Swords reversed gives us this feeling of needing to break free from something. So it's possible that either they have gone through their own like mental turmoil, or they had their own grief or their own loss, and they need to release that before they tell you, or you need to release it before you tell them. So whichever way this is going, whoever would be taking the first steps, I'm really seeing this as almost like you have to release your past before you're going to be able to draw them back toward you. It's not like a highly negative thing though. It's not like you have to completely heal from your grief or something before anyone will like be able to love you or something like that. I just think that you're holding on to a lot of pain from this previous loss, and that's what's causing this kind of block where you're either unable to fully express yourself, or they feel like they can't tell you exactly how they feel about you, because I'm getting this feeling like they do deeply care about you and that they want to have some sort of relationship. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this. Specifically paired with this Page of Cups here. Again, Cups deals with emotions. It deals with this compassion, this like flow kind of energy. And the Page, the Page of Cups is this like new beginning. It's this sort of like you guys finally come together where you're both in sync, where it's like perhaps one of you was doing pretty good and the other one was not feeling great, and then it ended up going the opposite way. So it almost kind of feels like that, where you guys weren't able to sync up, but finally there's this feeling of you guys syncing up, and there's this like it's finally getting to the point where something can move on this. In the Page of Cups, this also indicates someone who is a messenger. So see how she's like on her phone, they're on their phone and they're about to send a message, or they received a message, because there's like little like there's little like lines on there being like ba-ding. And so this is a message either coming to you or it's going to them that is going to be something that indicates some sort of movement, possibly on a potential relationship. That is what I am seeing for you, group number 4. I'm going to pull 2 more cards here with these decks. I am interested. So let's go for how do they truly feel? Because we know this, what they've seen of you. But what are their emotions regarding you specifically? I want to know all the juicy details. Wow. We just pulled the Lovers. Okay. Listen, I know I said juicy details, but wow, that's wild. This card slid right out, so let's pull this one as well. 4 of Swords. This is interesting because we're seeing the 6 here and then the 4 here, so it's those Roman numerals swapped right there. It's very interesting. So obviously in the Lovers, this is a card about love. It's also about union. It's about being aligned with things. Again, that synchronicity that we see in the Princess of Cups, it's being in sync with one another. You guys have the same sort of values. So it's just everything's coming into alignment. It straight up talks about relationships as well. But with it paired with the 4 of Swords, this is a card that indicates this sort of moment of contemplation, being very passive because there is a need for rest and relaxation, a need for recuperating from something. So what I think your crush truly feels about you is that I think, again, like how I said earlier, I was getting this vibe that like I think they really like you and they care about you and they want to be with you. This is indicating that yes, they do. So whoever ends up making that movement, I think it's going to end positively. However, I think that your crush has not made a move toward you because they are seeing the pain from this 10 of Swords. They are seeing this need for you to have to actually take time to recuperate and just relax before there can be that movement. And maybe you're sitting there going like, no, like I can do it. Like I want this right now kind of thing. It's just, I always believe that everyone is capable of love and everybody is allowed love. You don't have to heal in just the right way in order to have that. However, there's something to be said about that need to take care of yourself first. So if you are struggling extremely mentally, or if you are struggling with something like depression, or you are having just like a lot going on in your life where you don't have time for another person, you don't have time to put your energy into another person, we can't be so like greedy to be like, that person can come to me and just put all their love on me and then I won't do anything. Like, it's a give and take kind of thing. So if we are selfishly trying to pull someone to us because we think that they're gonna fix all of our problems, that's not what's actually going to happen. And it's probably going to make situations worse because you guys are not going to be aligned and be able to work out. However, I don't think, I'm seeing you guys as having a lot of like being able to actually see, like have that foresight, and it's almost like you have that foresight too much. So you're kind of pendulum swinging to the other side where you are like thinking like, oh, well, I can't be in a relationship right now because I just have too much going on, and like I'm still hurt from XYZ from 3 years ago, like things like that is why there's kind of this hesitation. I feel like for a lot of you that if you make it known that yes, you are working on yourselves mentally to try to break free from this 10 of Swords, if you start putting in more of that work and it starts being noticed from people around you, I think that's going to make this movement happen faster. You're going to get that message faster. Or also, if you are able to, if you can just tell them, like if you say, hey, I really like you, but I am at this point in my life where I am struggling with things and I just wasn't sure. If you were honest about that, I think they might find that really, really attractive. And they may say something along the lines of, yes, but let's walk this together. Like, I don't want you to be alone. I want to see you thrive. I want you to be able to listen to yourself and be able to reach again that practical, down-to-earth, secure kind of person that I know that you can be. So that's the vibes that I'm getting for you, group number 4. I'm going to pull a couple more cards for you. How does group 4's crush feel about them? Pull 2 cards here. The first one we have is the Trout and Lily of the Valley, and it says purification. So it's very possible that they feel like you are someone who really filters out all that negativity and really purifies things just from your energy. It could also be that they feel like you need to go through this purification. So kind of like how we talked about this need for being able to really rest and recuperate. They may feel like you need to go through this like purification rite before things can move on. But I really think that this is a very soft, almost like innocent, beautiful kind of mindset to have, that purification. And then we're seeing the Salamander and Black Pepper. And for some reason, as soon as I saw like this, I really thought fire. I can't remember if we pulled, I can't remember who we rolled on here. I feel like one was possibly fire, but I don't know. I'm so sorry. I've been rolling these nonstop. So we have, I felt fire. I felt almost like either an Aries or Sagittarius kind of vibe here. So that was very interesting, but it says inspiration. So they could see you as someone who is either very inspired or you bring about a lot of inspiration for them as well. Very interesting. And then I'm going to pull one last card from this deck here. One last card for group 4 today. Okay. Wow. So in this card here, this is Leone Abacchio, and in it says forgive yourself. So there is this need, whatever loss that you suffered, you need to forgive yourself for your involvement specifically in it. In this card, this character here, due to his actions, someone in his life lost their life, and so they held onto a lot of pain, and this almost need to kind of put up these walls and keep other people away. And so there's this possibility that you are doing the same thing. You're putting up these walls and keeping perhaps your crush away from you because you are still dealing with the repercussions from whatever this betrayal was, whatever this loss was. And so it's making it harder for you to be able to bring them toward you. But again, just Don't be so hard on yourself. Be sure to really treat yourself with this gentle energy. Realize that this wasn't your fault, and just know that you can always start again fresh with yourself. You don't have to keep beating yourself up over things that happened in the past. Whatever you need to learn and grow from in this situation, take that with you, but don't hold on to the things that negatively impact you, and be sure to do the work that you need to do in order to forgive yourself. So if you liked this reading or it resonated with you, group number 4, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick a card readings in the future and to join the Crow Coven. But in order to recap, let us go ahead and talk about how you had the Ten of Swords, where there was this really intense betrayal moment, feeling backstabbed, or this ending, this loss, and your crush is seeing this and had seen this happen to you, and they see that you're not really on your A game anymore. You're not able to trust yourself, and you kind of second guess yourself. You're not listening to your intuition, and they really see that about you. Next, I had to kind of swing away so I could talk about you a little bit. It looks as if in the Two of Pentacles, you need to learn to bring about more balance in your life. You have to focus on time management and prioritize things, because we're seeing this disorganization going on. So really work on trying to balance your schedule. Don't take on too much, because we don't want you to be lost in work. How the Queen of Pentacles discusses this imbalance in work and family commitments. It could be that your crush feels like there's not enough time for them to be in your life, so they feel a little pushed away because you are focusing so heavily on your career or hustles or schooling. Things like that. So again, trying really hard to be this down-to-earth, secure, and practical person. Next, we had in the Seven of Swords, I kind of asked a little bit about like what's going on. Why is there this stopping point? Why hasn't there been any movement? And we saw in the Seven of Swords, it's because there is this need for someone to break free from something. There's this need to release, and especially underneath this Ten of Swords, it's this need to release whatever happened in the Ten of Swords. So I'm really seeing this almost as you having to release this before your crush kind of makes a move. And again, I was getting at this point this vibe that I really think that they like you back, kind of thing. And we saw that in the Princess of Cups here, this Page of Cups, where it talks about, again, emotions. It talks about this like new beginning, you guys being in sync with one another finally, and a message coming through. Lastly, I really wanted just flat out how they felt about you, if we could get any intense, juicy details. The first card that flew out was the Lovers. So very much this want for a love, union, relationship, being aligned with one another. And then another kind of point that almost seems as if it's kind of why they're keeping away, however, is this Four of Swords, and it's because it's showing this need to like rest and relax. They're feeling more passive right now because they recognize that you have to recuperate from this loss, this ending moment here. We saw that there was in the Trout and the Lily of the Valley purification, which again, I feel like they think that you need to be purified from this negativity that's been in your life, but also possibly that you make them just feel pure and lighter as well. They also see you as an inspiration. You are somebody that really goes for what you want and what you love, and they are inspired by you. And lastly, in this card here, we're talking about this need to forgive yourself. So do not hold on to all of that pain from the past. Try to go through exercises, or if you need to, go through therapy and try to work through that pain that you had that came from the past that you're still holding on to, and really forgive yourself for what happened. So again, if you like this reading, please leave a comment down in the comment box below group number 4. I'm so curious about you guys because there's a lot of ups and downs going on in here. Again, I don't want to pry into your painful past or anything. If this does resonate with you, I don't want to be like trauma dump to me, but like I'm here if you feel safe to do so, to leave something like, wow, this resonated kind of thing. Feel free to leave that comment. I'm always open to people who want to share their stories if they feel safe to do so. Anyway, again, thank you so much for getting this far in your reading, and I will see you guys in our Wednesday video. Have a great day.